NTA International News.
Former head of state describes President Jonathan as a great Democrat as book titled The People's Choice is unveiled to the public. Vice President Namadi Sambo flags off irrigation component of Gurara Dam. Wife of Vice President urges women to ensure collection of the PVCs as their power to re-elect PDP at the polls as campaign rally holds in Bauchi. It's good to have you join us on NTA International News. I'm Taiwo Odugbeson. Former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, has described President Goodluck Jonathan as a great Democrat most suited to lead Nigeria in the next 4 years. The former head of state made the declaration at a book launch on President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja titled The People's Choice. Ignatius Nko now reports.
The glittering ambience of the event bore an eloquent testimony of the class of the day's event. A book launch on President Goodluck Jonathan, which captures not only President Goodluck Jonathan's dossier, but also presents some vital issues in Nigeria's history. The event afforded former head of state the opportunity to dish out some nuggets of advice to Nigerians, especially as it prepares for election. General Gowon described President Goodluck Jonathan as captured in the 194-page book as a detribalized Nigerian who is on the verge of taking Nigeria to unprecedented heights.
President, being the great diplomat, the great Democrat he is, I hope all of you here will do the right thing to vote for the people's inner choice, the person who is here.
President Jonathan, in appreciation of the intellectual work of the author, Reverend Father Charles Imokai, said the book vividly captured his humble beginning, which still spurs him to ensuring that every Nigerian child is educated. He reassured Nigerians that he is committed to reducing poverty in Nigeria to the barest minimum.
I used to tell people that I grew up from a very poor background. But luckily Nigeria is not a caste society. If I was to be an Indian, probably I couldn't have dreamt of even being a commissioner in my state. I am willing and ready to serve, but I'm not desperate to serve. As long as I'm here, we'll come up with programs that will help the young people.
I will add to your name, which is already long. I will call you, Mr. President, good man.
The clarity and simplicity of the English language used enhance the ease of reading.
The event witnessed an array of personalities from different walks of life. In Abuja, Ignatius Nko, NTA News.
The Nigerian government has inaugurated the irrigation component of Gurara Dam in Kaduna State, southwest of the country, which is expected to add over 20,000 metric tons of food to national production. Vice President Mohammed Namadi Sambo says the dam area will be linked to the rail line for easy movement of farm produce and for tourism. Musa Baba Aliyu has more.
The 100 billion naira Gurara Dam project is being executed primarily to provide water to the Lower Usman Dam in Abuja and generate as well as add 30 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. The dam embankments, laying of pipes and power plant have been completed and ready for use. The irrigation component of the project has taken off with the Vice President Mohammed Namadi Sambo flagging off the project. Under the project, 6,000 hectares of land has been cleared and irrigation facilities provided for the cultivation of rice, maize, melon and vegetables. The Vice President says the project is part of the administration initiative aimed at poverty, hunger and joblessness eradication in the society.
This project will create wealth and jobs for the people, our people in this area, in the agricultural value chain through direct farming, food processing and marketing, as well as other allied services. Tourism and fisheries are also being developed, supported by infrastructural facilities such as access roads, power supply, schools, communication, and other services.
This is also as a result of the support that the zone has been giving to the People's Democratic Party. And we know that the PDP will continue to ensure that projects of this nature that will improve lives and also sustain lives are properly done in this country.
Minister of Water Resources, Mrs. Sarah Ochekwe, assured that all ongoing dam constructions across the country will be completed as scheduled.
I would like, therefore, to call upon the host community to see this project as part of them and to give support to the contractors and all the other people that will be operating on this project. Together, if we work on it, we would all be the beneficiaries of the project.
The beneficiaries of this project are expected to add over 4,000 metric tons of rice, 6,000 metric tons of maize, and over 19,000 metric tons of melon and vegetables to the national food production. From Gurara, Kaduna State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
That was the inauguration of the irrigation component of Gurara Dam in Kaduna State, northwest of the country, by Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo. Moving on to politics. With 8 days to the general elections, the PDP Women Presidential Campaign Train was in Bauchi State, where the people were urged to collect their PVCs as their power to re-elect PDP at the polls. Uche Mwizu has details of the event.
The city of Bauchi State came alive with the presence of the PDP stalwarts, the wife of the Vice President Hajia Amina Sambo, and women groups who are in the state to solicit support for the re-election of Jonathan Sambo. Wife of the Vice President enumerated the achievements of the PDP administration in all tiers and placed their readiness to achieve more if voted again.
The present government has ensured buildings of schools and hospitals. Bauchi State government has built a new hospital for women and children, which I have commissioned.
Speakers, including the governor of Bauchi State, Issa Yuguda, and the PDP gubernatorial standard bearer, Awal Jato, said the PDP is a tested and trusted government whose impact is felt in all sectors. Women leaders in the state said they are pleased with the 35 affirmative action of the Jonathan's administration and insisted that there is peaceful coexistence in the state. Urged the people to vote PDP at the polls. Uche Mwizu, NTA News.
More pro-Jonathan groups have reaffirmed their commitment to drum support for the re-election of President Jonathan in the 2015 polls. The groups made this known when they visited former Federal Commissioner of Information, Chief Edwin Clark, in Abuja. Nnamdi Odipo now reports.
Support groups to the elder statesman and ardent supporter of President Goodluck Jonathan, Chief Edwin Clark, has become increasingly more intense as the elections draw closer. This group identified themselves as the Youth Enlightenment Solution and Empowerment Organization and say they stand solidly behind the president's bid for re-election.
If you want to survive as proud Nigerians, vote for President Jonathan. Then we live in peace, have your freedom. Nobody will oppress you.
Another group, which called on the statesman, the National Association of UWIN awardees, pointed out the president's achievements in uplifting the lives and well-being of the Nigerian youth.
We decided, okay, to give our support to this man that has made us wonderful entrepreneurs, because amidst us, we have the Dangotes of tomorrow.
Some people say they want to change. Change from what? Change from this beautiful idea to darkness?
Some more groups also visited the residence of Chief Edwin Clark, partly to pay their respect, but mostly to commit to supporting President Goodluck Jonathan's campaign for his second term in office. In Abuja, Nnamdi Odipo, NTA News.
Nigeria's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Delhatu Tafida, and a doctoral law student of University of Sussex, Abubakar Kagu, have said The Boko Haram siege in some parts of northern Nigeria will soon be rooted. They were speaking in London at a conference on Boko Haram, chaired by Director Sussex Africa Center, Joan McGregor. Bilkisu Abdurazak Odoye now reports.
Provoking and engaging was the interactive discussion with Professor Jeremy Kennan examining the links between the founder of Boko Haram, Mohammed Yusuf, the Algerian secret police, and the British and US governments.
Boko Haram, certainly its links with the Algerian secret services, who are the major allies of America, Britain, and France to some extent, is absolutely certain, I think, that is that Yusuf was in that camp, he was trained there, and the suspicion that he may have been killed.
Dr. Dalhati Sarikita Fida, who spoke on Boko Haram, a vicious cycle of poverty and terrorism in Nigeria, said President Goodluck Jonathan is doing extra for that region in education, skill acquisition, so as to reduce the level of poverty, adding that the government even extended an olive branch to the Boko Haram group, which was turned down by this sect.
The president, the way he has tackled the problem of Nigeria since coming into office more than 5 years ago, is really something to be admired.
The interactive roundtable discussion was joined via Skype by Chairman Pereira, coordinator of the Initiative for Women's Studies Nigeria, and she spoke on the dangers of such conflicts and violence on women and children as the major victims. From Brighton, London, Bilkisu Abdurazak Oduoye, NTA News.
Back in Nigeria, the Democratic People's Party (DPP) has urged its members nationwide to vote General Muhammadu Buhari, having adopted him as its presidential candidate in the 2015 general election. The party took the decision at its National Executive Committee meeting in Abuja. Correspondent Kenneth Nanim now reports.
Democratic People's Party (DPP) commended President Jonathan for his developmental achievements so far, but adopted General Muhammadu Buhari as the party's presidential candidate for the 2015 general elections with the conviction that General Buhari will do more.
If all our members are to support the general, where we don't have a governor, we also want our party to support the APC in that particular state. We give the maximum support for maximum effort. Whether the election is in our favor or not.
We don't have a presidential candidate, and we want them to vote Buhari.
The party is also canvassing votes for its flag bearers contesting various elective positions. The committee at the meeting ratified the position of Chief Gershon Benson as the acting national chairman of the party. In another development, the United Progressive Party (UPP) says it has not joined the All Progressive Congress (APC) as being purported. A statement by the Director General Chekwas Okorie Presidential Campaign Organization, Dr. Ugoji Ugoji, says Chief Chekwas Okorie has remained the party's presidential candidate and wants the general public to disregard any information in that regard. It further says the party has remained focused on the electoral guidelines in its presidential campaigns. In Abuja, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International from Abuja, Nigeria. For another look at the top stories, you heard that former head of state General Yakubu Gowon at a book launch titled The People's Choice has described President Jonathan as a great Democrat most suited to lead Nigeria in the next 4 years. We also told you that Vice President Sambo has inaugurated the irrigation component of Gurara Dam in Kaduna State, expected to add over 20,000 metric tons of food to Nigerians. Muslims offer special prayers towards a peaceful 2015 elections in Nigeria. Following the success of UTME matriculations examinations, Minister of Education says Nigeria is catching up with modern trends.
Nigerian government reduced the amount of subsidy paid on petroleum products and chose to invest its 41% share of the safe subsidy funds into the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SURE-P. Today, we'll look at the numbers. Shorpy has achieved 50% decrease in maternal mortality rates and 40% decrease in neonatal mortality rates in Nigeria. Over 8,500 skilled workers have been employed for public works. Over 1,000 mass transit buses have been provided for the public, and 40 Priority 1 roads are undergoing maintenance throughout the country. Shorpy has created 185,000 jobs, placed over 20,000 graduates in the graduate internship program, and trained over 1,000 auto technicians at the National Automotive Council. 1,200 health facilities have been supplied with drugs and medical equipment. 520,000 pregnant women have received care, resulting in over 100,000 deliveries in Shorpy MCH facilities. These are just some of the ways Shorpy is making life better for you and I.
Shorpy, delivering service with integrity. 11. Pastor Tunde Bakare, then VP candidate to General Muhammadu Buhari of the then CBC, was coerced into doing the unthinkable.
Illegal. Are you saying they were willing to allow your name to go forward in the polls, and then they expected that once you'd won the elections, you would resign as vice president?
That was what they were asking for. But I was not ready to commit perjury to sign an office I had not occupied.
Now, 2015, yet another pastor. Do we have another scenario?
We brought Buhari not because Bola Tinubu is not interested in being the president. I'm capable, competent, qualified, younger, and richer.
For those of you who want to vote Buhari, it's better to be sure than to regret. Do the right thing.
Is sizzling?
Yes, it is expensive, but it is a must-have.
Is insightful?
We are interested in seeing that this accord is respected.
Is informative?
Speed accounts for 50.8% of crashes.
Frontiers on NTA International.
Thanks for being there. With more than 80% success rate recorded in the 2015 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination through the computer-based test, Education Minister Malam Ibrahim Shekarau says Nigeria is indeed catching up with modern trends. Franca Uzoma Olua reports that the minister stated this while monitoring the UTME in Abuja.
Nigeria is said to be the first country in Africa to introduce the computer-based test mode of examination. The CBT eliminates cases of incomplete results and checks examination malpractice. At the Charms CBT Center, the minister was impressed with the orderly conduct of candidates, especially the ability of JAMB to make provisions for the visually impaired.
They amazed everyone.
We can actually reduce the pace of the
answer.
Of the reading.
At the Kogo CBT Center, the minister inspected the server room. And then the 250 capacity examination hall.
This is going to be a challenge to other examination bodies, even to smaller institutions, even internal examinations. We are gradually moving towards that. You know, even in offices, we are trying to minimize the use of files, use of papers.
Professor of Criminology Femi Odekunle also monitored the examination.
I'm a criminologist, and we are always worried about criminality and indiscipline. But this system has reduced to the barest minimum any possibility of exam malpractice.
JAM Registrar Professor Debo Jerinde says with the results released so far, performance of candidates is impressive.
I don't know the miracle that is happening to our children. They are better off in computer-based tests than in paper-based. Even last year, it was demonstrated transparently.
The 2015 UTME is expected to end on Saturday. In Abuja, Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
Nigerian women, under the auspices of Muslim women associations, will hold a national prayer on Saturday, 21st March 2015 at the conference hall of the National Mosque in Abuja. The national prayer session is at the end of a 3-day fasting declared by the Association for Allah's Intervention in the fight against insurgency and for a successful general elections. All Muslim women in the Federal Capital Territory and environs are expected to be seated at the venue by 10 o'clock in the morning. Wife of the Vice President, Hajia Amina Sambu, and other top government officials are expected to be in attendance. Special prayers towards a peaceful 2015 general elections has also been offered in Abuja. The prayer was led by Sheikh Ahmad Onilewura at the National Mosque in Abuja. Correspondent Musa Musa.
The special prayer, which seeks Allah's guidance for a peaceful and credible elections, also enjoins all Muslims and other faithful in the country to continue to pray for a successful elections. Sheikh Ahmad Onilewura calls on all faithful to remain peaceful before, during, and after the elections.
Ours is to pray, and it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant the prayer, to accept. And we know, because I did it wholeheartedly, and I believe in my heart that He has accepted our prayer, that bi kudratillah, that the election will go peacefully. There'll be no chaos, there'll be no vandalism, there'll be no problem, there'll be no burning houses, there'll be no problems here and there by the grace of Allah.
And on election day, they should go out peacefully and cast their vote, go home and pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect our country.
People should be orderly in their minds, be patient enough to be accredited, and ensure that they fulfill their civic responsibility. It's a privilege.
The Sheikh emphasized on the importance of peaceful coexistence among all peoples and faith, hence the need to work together for a united and peaceful country. Musa Musa, NTA News.
Libya has pledged to create more bilateral and mutual relations with Nigeria in order to bridge the gaps between the two countries. Chargé d'Affaires and Ambassador Designate of Libya to Nigeria, Dr. Atia Al-Koda, stated this at the 63rd anniversary of the Libyan Independence Day in Abuja. Phoebe Kaburuk now reports.
Libya, with an estimated population of 6.2 million, gained its independence from Italy in 1951, which the ambassador described as the fruit of their ancestors' effort for generations to enjoy liberty, better life, freedom, and unity. He said it was not just independence of the Libyan state, but a result of natural end to end an era of turbulence the people went through for almost 4 decades of struggle and fighting for their rights. The ambassador-designate describes as remarkable the contribution of King Mohammed Idris al-Sanusi for uniting the Libyan people, noting that Libya's revolution in February 2011 was an independence remained firm. He maintains that despite the struggles, difficulties, and hardships, they are confident that Libya and its people will remain unbreakable, and appreciated Nigeria's contribution for standing by them, especially against the former regime.
It is our belief that Nigeria is a great nation, will surely overcome the challenges it is going through today. We also pray that this great nation will conduct very successful, free and fair election in a few days to come.
Nigeria's Permanent Secretary Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Danjuma Sheni, was represented at the event by a director in the ministry, Edward Tamta Kubara.
Relations between our two countries over the years have been cordial, and I see this opportunity to request that all hands should be on deck to drive the relationships between our two countries to a greater height.
Phoebe Kabruk, NTA News.
Now to sports update. Weekend of waits for some Nigerian national football teams as UEFA Champions League and European League quarter-finals pairings are drawn in Lyon, Switzerland. Ayodeji Makinde has more on Sports Update.
This weekend holds a lot in store for some Nigerian national football teams. The Flying Eagles seek a record 7th Africa Youth Championship title when they file out against host Senegal in this edition's decider on Sunday. Ghana and Mali will do battle in the third-place match. Similarly, coach Sam Siasia's Dream Team 6 are set to take on their Zambian counterparts at the Abuja National Stadium Sunday in the first leg second round of the 2015 All-Africa Games qualifiers.
I think these boys will do us proud on Sunday. We just need to make sure they play to instruction.
And in Bamako, the Super Falcons will aim for a smooth run as they battle Mali in the first leg final round All-Africa Games qualifiers on Sunday.
The victory is ours, both home and away. I don't have doubt about it.
The Glow Nigeria Professional Football League enters week 3 this weekend with FC Taraba set to welcome Lobby Stars as El Kanemi meets Abia in the Battle of Warriors. Kano Pillars will not honor their engagement with 3SC as the Nigerian champions are involved in a rescheduled continental football fixture against Maghreb Tetouan in Morocco. It will be...
I'm Taiwo Odubeson.